Trigger warning for the movie we will be discussing on this episode. The movie we are reviewing contains offensive content, primarily slurs against marginalized people, but also mild violence, people under the influence of alcohol, and suicide. If you are sensitive to this kind of content, you may want to skip watching this movie and or listening to this episode. Hello, welcome to Your Movie, My Movie with Dan and Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Steve. This is a podcast where one of us picks a movie to watch and we'll discuss it together. In this episode, we're talking about one of my picks, the 2003 movie Bad Santa, written by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, and directed by Terry Zwigoff. We will be talking about spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first, now's the time to do so. But before we talk about the movie, Dan, who would you recommend this movie for?
Who would I recommend this movie for? Anyone who grew up in the early 2000s who, I don't know. Oh, this is terrible. I don't know. Reddit users who enjoy short people jokes and, generally, what is it called? Misanthropic characters.
Misanthropic characters, misanthropic characters on Reddit. What does that say about me? Since this was my pick, Dan.
No, I said who enjoy Reddit users who enjoy misanthropic characters. I enjoy misanthropic characters as well.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. That's a quote. Stephen always says, "I'm not wrong." So that's why
you're not wrong for sure.
But it was a fun movie.
Oh, you liked it?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it, but did you like it?
I like parts of it.
Okay. Interesting.
I like the idea of it.
Okay.
And I think it had a lot of potential, and I think there was good things about it. But
okay.
I think it could have been done better.
Interesting.
They had freaking... Okay, should we get into it?
Well,
Oh, wait, who would you recommend this movie for, Steven? Sorry.
Well, I would recommend this movie for people who utterly hate the holidays.
That's fair. Okay.
I watch this movie every Christmas Eve or every Christmas Day.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of my holiday traditions.
That's so funny.
I watch this movie and Elf with Will Ferrell. Now, before I would watch just Bad Santa, but then there came a point in my life where I'm like, man, you got to cheer up a little. Yeah. And so then I also started watching Elf because that movie has a lot of genuine sincerity about the Christmas spirit, but it also has kind of a bit of an edge, So, that's why I love Elf, but I love this movie too.
Yes, I can tell.
Do I, do you now make more sense of me as a person after watching this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Would you like to expand on that now, or?
I just understand the grumpy old man inside of you a little bit more.
Okay.
And I don't know. There is something relatable to just the grouch. And I mean, that's why we have the Grinch, and
but the thing,
grouchy characters are so lovable in some ways.
Yeah, but the difference between like the Grinch and this movie is like the Grinch finds his heart eventually. In this movie, nobody finds their heart.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, maybe a little, but I mean, like, not to that degree.
Yeah, not to that degree, but I would say there's a change that occurs, or a transformation that occurs in the main character. What is his name? What's the main character?
Willie.
Willie, right?
Yeah.
Willie, who uses his Willie.
But only in the big and tall, not in the arcades.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so does that make sense to you? My interpretation of you?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, but I mean, I do feel this way sometimes because I just started working at a convenience store, and we were just stocking the shelves for Christmas time before Thanksgiving even happened.
Yeah,
which is insane. And there was just so much cheap crap that we were just lining these shelves with, like stupid plastic light up nativity scenes, or like plastic Christmas trees. It was just like so much plastic. I wanted to vomit. And like, so I mean, there's plenty about this movie that I relate to in that way.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the movie, it's like, you people are monsters.
Yeah.
Well, so
that's the thesis.
Near the end of the movie, Willie gets a present for Thurman the boy, a pink elephant, because that's what he asked for, because he has no other friends to give him a present. So this terrible criminal alcoholic, dude who just fucks around and drinks, and steals because that's all he knows how to do. There's this fat boy who's
he's a little bit slow and doesn't have any friends, and his dad abandoned him.
Yeah,
because he went to jail.
Yeah, well, he went on an adventure through the mountains. That's what he was told.
Yes, his dad's on an adventure through the mountains of the jail.
Yeah, and so he gets a pink elephant. He chooses that, and that's when the African American little person, Marcus, because we are not the people in the movie. That's what we were going to call him.
His name is Tony Cox.
Yeah, Tony Cox. Yeah, he's a great actor. I think he was in a couple of episodes of Seinfeld, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
He was also apparently in Star Wars.
Oh, like
Return of the Jedi.
Oh, wow. He might have played one of the Ewoks.
Yeah, but
so yeah.
Sorry, just random.
No, that's great. And so Marcus gets the drop on Willie, and then Willie says, they talk, and then Willie says, of Marcus and his wife.
Yeah.
He's like, you people are monsters, and Marcus responds, there's no joy in this for me. Willie is like, I get you killing me, but do you really need all that shit? It's Christmas. Which, kind of says a lot about the commercialization. I mean, there are a ton of movies about the commercialization of Christmas, but it's like, when you get it from such a terrible person, it really hits home, So I find it interesting that that's the part of the movie that, because for me, Christmas was not a good time for lots of reasons. And, the holidays aren't a good time for like a lot of people. There are people without friends. There are people without family. There are people who in this country have to work on Christmas or Christmas Eve, not because, not necessarily because they work at a hospital or anything, but because they might work at a restaurant or a movie theater, or, there's plenty of places, like especially service industries, where people have to still work rather than, celebrate the holiday as they're supposed to, which, and then, there's also, that family aspect. Because, and there are Christmas movies about problems of dealing with your family at Christmas, There are movies about that, you know, because your friends, your family is your family by blood. Your friends are your family by choice, and those are two very, very different dynamics. And so, yeah, I don't generally like the holidays. I have, you know, not good memories of the holidays. And so that's one of the reasons why I watch Bad Santa every year, because it's like, hey, not liking the holidays is a valid choice. And, you know, so, yeah.
That's funny. That's crazy. I had a pretty good growing up. So, like, I had pretty awesome Christmases with my family. Humble brag. But they are a stressful time, no matter what. Even if you enjoy them, there's so much tension and, like, anxiety and stress that goes into planning everything and making everything perfect. So it is, you know, no matter, even if it is an enjoyable thing for you, it can be very difficult. And yeah. So, like, yeah, Christmas is something I look forward to in some ways, but also it's something I dread. And I think that's most people. There's a bit of both in it.
Yeah. For me, there's definitely more of one than the other.
Yeah.
A bit of both. So yeah, that's why I love this movie.
That's so funny.
Because, you know, this movie, you know, in my opinion, it doesn't let up on the misanthropy.
No, it doesn't.
You know, and that's what's great about it. I mean, you know, we've already, you know, you said that there's changes. I think there's, you know, not much change. I think that most of these characters kind of, they are who they are, and they kind of stay that way, you know, maybe except for Thurman Merman, maybe except for him by the end. But yeah, like
Thurman Merman and Willie do change a little bit.
Yeah, a very little bit though.
I mean, he goes from not caring about anyone to, you know, risking getting shot to give a stuffed elephant to a kid.
That's true, but it's like but I don't know.
And then he decides to basically start a family, you know. After he gets out of the hospital, he's going to live with Thurman Merman and, you know, Santa fetish lady.
Are they?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can discuss it.
Yeah. I mean,
you can change my mind. Like, I'm not firm on that. But
well, you've seen it 5 times or 10 times or however many times.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I will be able to, but anyways.
Well, it's just something that I've been asking myself. It's like, is there really a character arc or not? Because, I mean, you know, it's not like he doesn't give up drinking. He's probably not going to give up drinking. He may give up, you know, safe cracking since he got the job as a sensitivity counselor for the Phoenix, Arizona police force.
Oh, gosh.
But then again, you know, he said before, I'm going to change my ways at the beginning of the movie, and, you know, he didn't do it. So, yeah, I kind of wonder. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
I mean, I think the thing was that he let someone into his life, you know, that he decided to not push someone away. Because, I mean, even Marcus, they're sort of friends. So this movie is a little bit frustrating because they're all one-dimensional characters except for maybe Willie. And that's it. Everyone else is a one-dimensional character.
You think so?
Yes. Yes, I do. Marcus seems like a genuine friend almost until like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Well, I mean, no. Well, this is why I don't think they're like totally one-dimensional, because of the thing with Marcus. So hold on, let's talk about the plot real quick. Okay, so Willie is a safecracker who
was abused as a child.
Yeah. And that's all his father taught him, except how to take a punch. And so he teams up with Marcus, who's an African-American little person, and they have a scheme where every Christmas they get hired by a mall during December as a mall Santa and his elf helper. They case the mall, and then on Christmas Eve they sneak in and steal all the money that they made on Christmas Eve at the mall. They steal it and then, you know, run off. So that's been their scheme for a while.
And Marcus and his wife steal things like clothing and glasses and stuff like that. Sunglasses.
Yeah. Okay. You describe Marcus's wife.
She's a materialistic human being who is sort of heartless. What does she yell? Oh, did you get the loofah? So Marcus is like, he looks at the safe and he's like, oh man, he sees all the money. He's like, F the loofah.
Yeah.
So then he like jumps in the van and she's like, did you get the loofah? And yeah, I mean, she's a bit...
Well, what does she do in the mall?
Oh, she goes shopping window shopping every single day, basically.
Yeah.
And she's this sort of, I mean, she's not played as stupid, although she does have like characteristics of like the very high pitched voice, and like she almost could be playing like one of those stereotypical like stupid people, but she's not.
Well, she's also an Asian woman, so you know.
Yeah, and
I believe
there is some making fun of that. I think in this movie.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, primarily slurs against marginalized people. I guess that counts.
Yeah,
because she was called his mail order bride.
Yes.
But yeah, she goes through the mall and, you know, she window shops and then she writes down all the things that she wants Marcus to steal from the different stores while Willie, you know, tries to crack the safe.
I thought that was a really interesting bit. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's a nice little cutaway, and you know this movie has a nice little cutaway, and like especially with the cutaways, it has such a great score to go with them too.
Oh yeah, it opens with like a tilt down from the stars, like I think it's like a Chopin song or something.
Yeah.
But it's like very nice piano music, and then you know into a bar on Christmas or Christmas Eve, and
well, not just a bar, like a high class pub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
high class pub,
and
there's
with older, obviously wealthy white people
who are very happy and joyous and getting presents and giving presents and
and at the end of the bar,
bad Santa.
Yeah, Willie's smoking his cigarette. Hey, can I get a drink down here?
Yes.
And that's the opening scene.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's great. It really sets the tone for the movie. But then he walks out. And then he's providing narration, talking about his past, you know, so, you know, we get an idea of who he is as a character and what he's doing. And then it goes from him walking outside of the back of the pub into an alleyway. And then he leans against a wall and starts throwing up in his Santa suit as, you know, the title of the movie, Bad Santa, shows up.
And down the alleyway and across the street is an open window with a illuminated Christmas tree inside.
I didn't catch that.
Framed in the alleyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great shot and it tells that first scene really tells us who we're meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, and it also basically says, you know, I would have killed myself a long time ago. Come to think of it, I still might. No.
Yeah. He's so misanthropic. He hates himself.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. So the plot, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
So he's a safecracker. Marcus is sort of the way in as far as Marcus gets the jobs because, you know, Marcus is a good elf because, you know, he's a little person and that's, you know, sort of a commodity. And Willie is a terrible Santa.
Marcus fronts the operation. Like he's in charge of the operation.
Yeah.
He chooses, he's the brains of the outfit.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So he chooses where to go and, you know, how they'll do all this. Because Willie, all he wants to do is get drunk and, you know, fuck women in the in the women's big and tall section. Yes. And that's all he wants.
Yes.
And that's his life because his life is terrible and meaningless, and that's how he feels the hole inside of his soul. Yeah.
And so they rob the malls, then basically they get to another mall and
they celebrate. First they celebrate the first mall that they steal from, and they celebrate at a bar.
Yes.
Willie is like, you know what? well, Willie's like, yeah, I might spend, use my money to get a bar on the beach down in Miami and, clean myself up and, get myself straight. And Marcus is like, no, you're not. You're so full of shit. You're a terrible human being. You'll be lucky. You're going to be waiting for my call next year, because you spent all your money. You drank it all away. And you'll be lucky if I call you.
Yeah.
And so then it cuts to Miami Beach.
Yes, several months later.
Yeah, well, the next year. Yeah, the next year. And Papa Loves Mambo is playing. Which is kind of an interesting song. I think it's always interesting when it shows up in movies because have you seen Back to the Future?
Yes, a while ago.
Okay, so in the scene where Marty has gone back in time and like he's walking down, the downtown area, and he sees like how it's all changed and it's no longer the 1980s, but it's the 1950s. And then there's that song, Mr. Sandman, that song is playing. Originally, they're going to have it be Papa Loves Mambo.
Weird.
Yes. But they made a better choice.
Yeah.
So I always think about that when I hear, Papa Loves Mambo.
Interesting thing to think about. That's like a tidbit of movie trivia I didn't know. I don't feel like a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
But
so Papa Loves Mambo is playing and we see Willie behind a bar cutting limes and then he pours himself a drink. And what happens then, Dan?
The bar is packed. There's people enjoying themselves, and he's mixing a drink, and then a guy comes around the bar and he's like, "What are you doing behind my bar again? Get out of here!" And he just starts like beating him up, and like Willie starts fighting back. Willie's just. The guy starts beating the crap out of him. Willie's just trying to finish his drink.
Yeah. Willie's finishing his drink, and the guy's like, "Put that drink down. Put that drink down. Don't you finish that drink." And then once he finishes, he grabs Willie and like throws him over the bar. And then Willie, gets into a drunken rage and just starts throwing glasses, at the, the bottles in the back. And that's when the bartender like jumps over the bar. And then we see how Willie probably spends most of his days in Miami, hanging out on the beach, looking at, women in bikinis playing volleyball while eating a corn dog.
Yep. And then we get the classic, drunken wake up scene where he like yanks the alarm clock out of the wall. That is so like the stereotypical movie that I am sick of it now.
Well, I mean, I don't know because, it's typical to throw the alarm, but it doesn't stop there.
No, yes, I did enjoy that. He doesn't stop there. He throws the alarm against the wall and then just starts hucking bottles at the wall. Like, bottle after bottle after bottle, empty bottle. And then when he comes to a bottle that has some beer in it, he doesn't throw it. And he looks at the bottle, and there's a cigarette dangling around inside that he must have put out inside the bottle, and he still drinks the beer, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's a great scene. It tells a lot. It tells a lot about his character.
Yes.
And so then, we go through his messages. He got into a car accident, and the woman's like, I called State Farm Insurance and they don't have a record of you. So could you give me a call? Yeah.
Good luck, lady.
Yeah, and then it goes to then we hear Marcus. Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you lazy sack of shit. We got another mall to do if you're not dead already, if your liver hasn't killed you or something." Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, head out to Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah.
But they filmed it in Phoenix, Arizona, where there's no snow, where they can film year round. Film a Christmas movie year round.
We're noticing a theme here.
We are.
After Ernest goes to jail in Orlando.
Yes, exactly.
No, sorry. Ernest Saves Christmas, Orlando. My apologies. But I love it's like a White Christmas is playing or whatever, and
and they're like kind of doing a walk
in like the desert heat of Phoenix, and like
in the parking lot they're walking.
Yeah, you have like the waves of like vapor coming off the ground, because it's so freaking hot. And it's pretty funny. And he's getting drunk already.
Yeah, he's drinking from a bottle. And then he just takes the bottle and he just, throws it away and shatters the windshield. And Marcus is like, what's wrong with you? Can't you hold it together?
Which is all Marcus does in this entire movie.
Yeah, that's their dynamic this whole movie.
Which is why Marcus is not a character.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because like he's a professional, he's a professional thief, but he's partnered with this guy who is trying to drink himself to death, basically, who has nothing to live for, which alters that dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if he had a partner who just didn't drink, this would be a heist movie. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we also find out later in Marcus, like how far he's willing to go.
Which I didn't buy.
Really?
I didn't buy that. Well, basically, should we skip there?
Let's.
Okay. All right, we'll circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back. Yeah. So they go to the mall and, well, I mean, you know what? Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Basically, there's this. Okay, so let's just do a grand summary of the plot really quick.
Okay.
So they get to this new mall, and Willie's worse at being Santa than ever before, and obviously worse at potentially robbing a safe. He's a grouch, a good-natured kid who's bullied and stuff.
Thurman Merman basically
is like, Santa, how are you? And well, basically Willie goes and stays at Thurman Merman's house because Thurman Merman has been abandoned by his.
Well, no, that's not the reason why. The reason. So okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, what happens is John Ritter, who plays like the owner of the mall, he catches Willie fucking large women in the women's big and tall department, in one of the changing rooms. And so he goes to the mall detective, played by Bernie Mac, to see if he can find any reason that he can fire him, William Marcus. Because he doesn't want to, break any fair practices laws, because Marcus is an African-American little person. And so Bernie Mac breaks into that hotel room that Willie has been staying at. But Willie sees this happening. And so he talks to, Octavia L. Spencer, who plays a hooker. So before, which is a great callback, because before, Willie is fucking that large woman in the women's big and tall department. He's like, oh, you ain't gonna shit right for a month. and then he talks to Olivia Spencer playing a hooker. Okay. And she's like, what you want, you pervert? The last time we got together, I didn't shit right for a week. Every actor starts somewhere. And so because he doesn't know who's looking for him, but he just sees that, someone rummaging through his hotel room, and that's when he gets the idea to stay with Thurman Merman for the rest of the stay. And so that's how that happens.
Yes.
Okay.
But then also the kid is just wandering around outside. But, the kid basically saves him from a random dude who wants to beat him up for no reason.
No, there's a reason. It's because he's not gay. He's absolutely not gay, Dan.
And he absolutely wasn't assaulted by an elf when he was a child at a mall or something. Anyways, so someone is beating him up, and
now this part makes no sense. It was only written because they got to try to find a way for the reason why Willie would take Thurman home.
Yeah,
is the thing, so that Willie could find out. That's all it is. And that's the best they could come up with.
I'm so lost right now. What are we trying to?
You know what? Let's go back. Let's not talk about the plot anymore. Let's just talk about the movie. Okay. So, Marcus, you don't buy that he's a killer?
I don't necessarily buy that he's a killer. No, I think he's I don't know. It just doesn't seem smart. I don't know. It's weird because he doesn't seem like, we don't get anything about him. We get that he is actually, he seems to be, a professional who doesn't want the kids to be traumatized. Well, I don't know if he actually cares, but he's covering for Willie's terrible job at being Santa.
Yeah.
And they seem to have some sort of camaraderie, at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then just the security guard, Bernie Mac, calls them out and wants to get in on their deal and, take half of their money.
So the split will be half of what they get goes to Bernie Mac, which means Willie and Marcus will only get 25% of the take each.
Mm-hmm. So Marcus and his wife murder Bernie Mac, which
they set him up.
Yeah, which also I didn't buy at all. It's just it's a dumb comedy movie. It's I just have to remind myself that, because
I don't think it's that dumb though.
No one who just blackmailed someone would pull over to help them with their van.
It is a little that part is contrived.
How stupid are you? There's no way he didn't know that was going to be a setup.
The thing is, that is contrived, but my thing is even if Marcus would definitely kill the guy, because he's taking so much of their money and he's worked so hard trying to keep Willie together. He's tired of it, and he's not going to let anybody, take money from him after he's worked so hard, because, he is still a criminal, and, you kind of have to be, a little heartless, to be pulling crimes at all. You know what I mean?
True.
Mm-hmm.
True. I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. I don't know. I just wish I would have seen a little bit more actual. Because Marcus it's like he's constantly getting on Willie's case, but it doesn't actually seem like he actually is mad. He's mad, but I don't think
he's not mad. He's frustrated that he has a shitty partner.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like he hates the guy. You know what I'm saying?
No. He's just some. No. He doesn't shoot Willie out of hate or anything. That's not his motivation.
Yeah.
His motivation is that he's done with Willie. Willie is like a tool to him.
Yeah.
And Willie is no longer a useful tool, so now he's got to get rid of him.
Yeah,
and he's going to get rid of him, and that's the same way he treats the detective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which Bernie Mac being in this movie, great, but the security guard gets no screen time, and I don't know, he just doesn't get an option to be awesome. I don't know. He does a little bit. I like how he's always eating whenever the owner of the mall is talking to him. That's great. And I don't know, his reactions to what the mall owner is telling him, or the guy who's running the mall.
Yeah, but the movie isn't about Bernie Mac. It's about Willie.
Yeah, I just feel like his character was a little bit of a waste. He could have been a lot more funny or something. I don't know.
But it's not about him. They got to put the focus on Willie and what's going on with him. So
true.
Yeah. So
my favorite. Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
My favorite character in the movie was Bob, the owner of the runner of the mall. I don't know what
played by John Ritter.
John Ritter, yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, oh man, does he have a light touch in this movie? But I really like light touches. When you get great actors and you don't give them a lot of scenes, but
he does so well.
Yeah. Well, and Bernie Mac, they're great. So one real quick thing about Bernie Mac that's kind of funny is that they have a scene where he's in a nail salon, getting his, getting a pedicure. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's really funny about that is I recently watched the Ocean's 11 trilogy, and he always talks about, caring for his hands and nails, and, he gets a pedicure and he, goes to salons in that show. So it's I wonder, what's going on with that? Is Bernie Mac really into salons in real life, and then they just write that into the movies, or is that a thing or not?
That is a strange coincidence.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I love that scene though, because he's honey, stop being romantic. You don't have to care about my feet too much. You don't have to be don't take your time with it. Come on, get in there, get it out, get it, and get it done. And then she tries to start it, and she's like, hey, watch it.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, woman?
And it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. So speaking of incredible actors who have a very light touch in this movie, Granny. Granny is played by Cloris Leachman. Okay. And so let's talk about Cloris Leachman real quick. She won an Academy Award.
What?
A British Academy Film Award, a Golden Globe Award, and a Daytime Emmy Award. Not only that, but she's won 8 Primetime Emmy Awards from 22 nominations.
Holy cow.
Making her the most nominated, and she's tied with Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the most awarded performer in Emmy history.
Holy cow.
And all she does in this movie is say, Roger, and I'm going to go fix some sandwiches. But she does it so fucking well.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, right?
She's great. I like when she's, dead, when they think she's dead. And he comes up and puts his finger under her nose to see if she's breathing. And then she's like, wakes up and starts screaming and like,
Roger, I'll go fix you some sandwiches.
And then they're having sex in, the hot tub behind them.
Yeah,
and
while she's watching the rotisserie commercial.
That was funny too.
Yeah.
But this, yeah.
Okay.
All the characters are one-dimensional except Willie and Thurman.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't care.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I still think it's wonderfully written. So.
I do like the writing, like the actual dialogue is pretty wonderful.
Hold on. I mean, especially from Thurman. Hold on. Oh my God. Well, I mean, can you keep it together for 10 minutes? And then Fraggle Stick Car. What do you want for Christmas, kid? Fraggle Stick Car. What the hell is that? Fraggle Stick Car. Okay, kid, get away.
He just like jolts him off his knee. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And that's all he says. Hey, is your granny spry? I don't know. Granny, are you spry? Yeah.
Performance? What are you talking about, performance? You think I'm sexually inadequate?
Yeah.
You think my fuck stick doesn't work?
But also like John Ritter, Yeah, I heard him fornicating with a heavyset woman in the woman's big and tall department in the changing room, and he told her that that she would not shit right for a week.
John Ritter was so great because like anytime someone would say something like unsightly or whatever or unseemly, he would just kind of like wince, smile.
Hey, he knows his job. He knows his stuff.
Yes, it's so good. Actor. Yeah. It's so good. Oh, he was my favorite part because it's just like this gentleman who's very much like, oh, yes. Well, I noticed you had been not doing the best at your job, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. They're all wonderful. So let's talk about Lauren Graham real quick because she's awesome in this movie.
Lauren Graham.
Yeah. Fuck me, Santa.
Oh, Gilmore lady.
Mrs. Santa's sister.
Yes, Mrs. Santa's sister. From the Gilmore Girls is how I know her, basically. And The Pacifier. Did you ever watch The Pacifier?
I have.
With Vin Diesel?
Like once.
She's the love interest in The Pacifier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. The Pacifier I've seen a million times.
Okay.
I had it as a kid on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
You've seen The Pacifier, but you haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China. That's amazing to me.
I wasn't allowed to watch Big Trouble in Little China.
That is fair.
The Pacifier.
That makes sense. That makes like total sense when you put it that way. Yes. Okay. Now I know the references for your movie.
Yes.
Foreign art movies and definitely G movies.
Anything that doesn't have boobs in it.
Maybe PG movies.
The first, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I'll keep that in mind from now on for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Bank that in your memory banks.
Yeah.
So yes, Lauren Graham is. So I at first, like when she's a bartender in a bar that Willie's at drinking himself to death, basically. But she somehow basically gets a little interested in him. And I was like, what is going on here? What is going on here? There's nothing interesting about this man that would make him sexually appealing in the slightest. And then she's like, oh, how's it being Santa?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, it's all right, you know?
No, he's like, I'm just like every other guy. I'm a, eating, drinking, shitting, fucking Santa. And then she goes, prove it. Cut to.
They're in the car and, they're having sex and she's like screaming, oh, Santa. Yes, Santa.
No.
I don't know what she's screaming.
She's fuck me, Santa. Fuck me, Santa. And he goes, can I take the hat off? No. Fuck me, Santa. Fuck me, Santa. Okay, fine. These are all one-dimensional characters.
Yes, they are. Oh my gosh.
I admit it now. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you use it well, and this movie definitely uses them well.
It does, but
so
I don't know. They could be a little better, I think.
No. I like it when characters are who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean. I don't necessarily agree.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, she has a fetish for Santa.
Yeah, she has a Santa kink.
Yes.
So,
which I think is wonderful. It's hilarious.
Well, I mean, how else? Well, like you said, he has no redeeming qualities. Mm-hmm. So, on what basis would they ever hook up?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's hilarious. That's like the funniest part of the movie to me. Or one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another line. This is just a random line. But Marcus is talking about how he's gonna waste his life and how he's gonna blow away all his money. This is after the first robbery, and he's like, "You're gonna pick up the phone and put on your Santa hat so fast you get hat burn."
Well, for me, I think the funniest lines come from Thurman because he says things like, "Oh, I know I wrote it down." Like, they bring Willie. Willie brings Thurman home, and he's like, where's your dad? And he's like, he's having an adventure in the mountains. And then later we find out he's in jail for like embezzlement, and that's what they told him.
And his mom is in heaven with Jesus and Mary. Oh shoot, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't realize. My bad. Go ahead, Steven.
Mom is in God's house with God and Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the long-eared donkey and the talking walnut.
And the talking walnut is like lore in this movie. It shows up again.
Yeah. It shows up again because Thurman has been getting bullied by these teenage boys, and then they grab him and give him a wedgie when he's at the mall, and so Thurman goes to Willie and he's like, "What the hell happened to you, kid?" He goes, "A wedgie," and he's like, "Where's the rest of your underwear?" And he's like, "No, don't tell me." And he goes like, "So what are you doing here, kid?" And he was like, "Oh, I asked you for for Christmas for a purple elephant, for a pink elephant, but I actually want a purple one. But now I want a talking gorilla who takes his orders from the talking peanut, so it won't be my bad thing."
Yes, he wants the talking walnut to order the talking gorilla to beat up the teenagers for him.
Yeah, yes. And it won't be a sin for him.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I asked you, like, if you knew about the talking walnut, because, like,
no,
I know they're like Christian shows,
Oh, okay.
So I think that might be like some reference to like, a Christian show somewhere I don't know about. So I was wondering if you might have seen it.
I've heard of Veggie Tales. I grew up on Veggie Tales, but not like legume tales or whatever.
Okay. I've never heard of.
A bean is a legume, not a nut.
Okay, yeah.
Never mind. Sorry.
I think nuts might be legumes.
Oh.
But it wasn't a dumb joke. Anyway. to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good at making jokes.
It's okay. Well, no, because I think he talks about Davy and Goliath at some point, which I believe is a children's show, a Christian themed, children's show at some point. So
Davy and Goliath, I've never heard of that one.
Okay. I could be totally wrong, but I think it might have been, kind of filmed kind of like Gumbo.
Got you.
Yeah, or Gumby.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gumby is crazy.
Yeah.
We should watch Gumby one day.
Well, that can be your pick.
That movie, that show's crazy.
So yeah, I was just, like this child has a logic to him.
Yes. The traumatized Christian child.
Yeah, like I know that what he's saying is making sense to him, but like only if you understand like what he's read and seen and been told and all those other things. Which is why I think it's so funny. Because like nobody else knows these things. I get yeah.
It's wonderful.
Imagine like talking to a hipster like that. There's a hipster character, now I'm imagining a hipster character and like he makes all these references, but like they're so obscure only he knows about. Yeah. That's gotta be a character in some kind of movie.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That's what he's like. But by accident. Okay. Another, like, I know it's a small thing, but another funny.
Oh, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
So, the bartender lady, she's like, oh, I have a thing for, Santa costumes. And he's like, oh, I get it. It's like my thing for tits.
Such a great line delivery.
Yes.
By Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, my gosh. That was amazing. That was freaking hilarious.
Well, another thing is like, later on in the movie, he invites Mrs. Santa's sister. So, okay, let's explain the Mrs. Santa's sister's bit. So Thurman Merman like asks Willie like all these questions, and he's like, about the North Pole, and he's like, well, why aren't you in the North Pole? And he goes, well, I got divorced by Mrs. Santa, and she got the North Pole in the divorce. He's like, well, why did you get divorced? No. The way it goes is like, why don't you have a real beard? And he goes, because I slept with an unclean woman. Well, who did you sleep with? Mrs. Santa's sister. So Willie brings the bartender around in the house. So naturally, Thurman assumes that she's Mrs. Santa's sister. One neat thing was like, Willie and Mrs. Santa's sister are hanging out, and they're talking, and she's trying to get to know him and like trying to connect with him as a human being, but like he's an utter misanthrope and he's not having it. And so he's like, well, the truth of the matter is I'm not Santa. And then she goes, well, I like you anyway. Which is nice. That's like a nice part, so we, like she's the one not totally misanthropic character in this whole movie. She's really very nice, but like she also knows what's up because they get done partying, and then on her way out, she's like, you're going to call me, right? And Willie goes, yeah, I'll buy you flowers. Really good, expensive one. She goes, he's just full of shit. So, we're talking about, misanthropy and, kind of, negativity versus positivity, and, I think that's great. Where you can find, when you can connect with someone on an intimate level, but you can still take the piss out of them. You know what I mean? So,
she has some great moments as well. She's like, they're on the couch in that tender moment. She's like, oh, do you like kids? And he's like, what? What do you think I'm a pervert? No, I don't like kids. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I like kids? I don't like kids. I'm not. And she's like, oh, I'm just, because you're Santa. And he's like, you're with children. He's like, oh, yeah. I guess, or whatever. And she's like, oh, I love kids. But she does sort of take care of Thurman Merman or whatever.
Yeah. On Christmas Eve, she comes by, and she's the one that brings all this stuff so that they can decorate the house with Christmas, but she also brings plenty of booze. And it's such a funny little montage because, she made popcorn, thinking, what's it called? Popcorn tinsel, where you thread the string through popcorn, and Willie is like, trying to do that, and his hands shake. One of the funniest parts of the movie, I think. And then she's like on the ladder decorating the tree, and well, before Willie was like, "Oh, you look good." So he's just looking at her ass, kind of a tight skirt. He just rubs her ass for a while, and like she pulls his hand away, And then he reaches over and starts to unzip the skirt. She just stops him.
Because Thurman Merman is like running around like in the kitchen, just outside of sight.
Yeah, Willie doesn't care.
Yeah,
she looks too good.
It's very funny.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
funny.
Very
but they
funny
do
moment.
make a really weird, dysfunctional, almost family unit, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, we see over the course of the movie, you know, the movie is about Willie becoming more human, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like more in a way.
I don't know.
Because I mean, he's slowly.
The thing is that he does connect with Thurman because this is the funniest part. After the detective like tells him that he's going to take half their stuff, the next day Willie shows up at the mall on the escalator, and he's just laying on the escalator because he's fucking drunk as shit. Okay, crawls over to the mall Santa, you know, plaza part, and he just kicks everything and, you know, rips all the shit, and he tries to get up on the chair, and he's like, oh, I pissed myself. And then the detective and Marcus, they see this and like, oh my god, you know, we got to cover for him because, you know, the detective is now invested in their scheme because he's going to profit himself from it. And so then there's an argument between the detective and Marcus over who's going to drag Willie back to his car. And I cannot repeat any of what they say on this podcast. If you're interested, just go watch it yourself. But it's a great back and forth between the two.
It is very funny. Yes, it's hilarious.
Okay, so
but he's like, Marcus is like, it's a physical impossibility. It's just a physics thing. I can't.
Well, yeah,
I weigh 90 pounds.
Yeah, well, what it is the detective tells Marcus to drag the body back to the car, and he's like, you know, how the hell do you expect me to do this when I'm 3 foot tall and weighing, you know, 93 pounds? And then they get into it, and it's hilarious. So then, I think it's kind of interesting, you know, that, you know, that's kind of Willie's lowest point, and it's, you know, right after he gets told, oh, he's not going to get as much money as usual because the detective has stepped in and, you know, taken from it. So, you know, I think that kind of goes to the gravity of, you know, him taking all that money, and one of the reasons why Marcus kills him later. So Willie, we cut to Willie sitting in a car in the garage at Thurman Merman's house. It's running, and he's got
Thurman Merman's dad's car.
Thurman Merman's dad's car, and there's a hose that goes from the tailpipe to the window, and the window, you know, is closed except for the hose. So, you know, he's trying to kill himself. He's made the decision to kill himself, you know, through carbon dioxide poisoning. And then Thurman Merman comes in and he's like, you're not going to work today? And he's like, no, I'm not going to go to work today. And he's like, here's a letter. When the paramedics come for Santa, make sure you give this to the cops. And he's like, what is it? And he's like, well, it tells all the bad things I've done. And so Thurman came in, and we see that he has a black eye. And so after Willie tells him about the letter, he's like, wait a minute, kid. And he rolls down the window. He's like, what happened to your eye? Cut 2.
Willie beating the ever-loving shit out of those teenagers who were bullying Thurman Merman. He's like knocking a kid's head against a tree over and over, and just like throwing their skateboards at them. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Willie and Marcus in the locker room together, and they're getting ready to start their day as a mall Santa and elf. And Willie's just sitting there, and he's like, I think I've turned a corner. I beat the shit out of some kids today, but it was for a purpose. It made me feel really good about myself. It made me feel like I was constructive with my life, like I accomplished something. And Marcus, he doesn't know any context of this. He's like, you need therapy. You need many, many fucking years of therapy.
Yes.
Because beating kids is a positive moment and doing something good.
But it is for him. That is a moment where he actually like helps Thurman Merman for once. And, you know, I mean, it's not, I think he did more. I think the biggest turning point for me was whenever he taped up the Advent. So there's an Advent for Thurman Merman. And Thurman Merman is like, oh, do you want to open this Advent with me? And like, there's chocolate in it. And it tells this Christmas story. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, you do it. But then he gets drunk and he eats all the chocolate and basically tears it all up.
Mm-hmm.
But then the kid brings it back and he's like, I think someone messed with it. And he's like, no, it's fine. But it's all taped up.
Yeah. What happened was
meticulously.
Really realized what he did in his drunken rage. And so he tried to fix it. And what are some of the gems that Thurman finds in his Advent calendar?
It's a candy corn. Yeah, well, they can't all be winners. And I think the last one, there's a liquid gel Advil.
Yeah. And so, because Thurman, kept getting beat up, we go to the scene where Willie decides to teach Thurman self-defense with the help of Marcus. And yeah, long story short, everybody gets hit in the nuts.
Everybody gets kicked in the balls. It's wonderful. And then Willie and Marcus are having like a kicking match on the ground in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite things was like there's a there's a scene where Thurman Merman is like he like runs downstairs screaming and screaming and screaming.
Yeah.
And he's got like a cut hand, and Willie has to basically pour vodka on the cut, and he's like, "Are you all right, kid?" I guess you're all right. Or basically, he doesn't even go upstairs after he runs away. Yeah.
The kid's screaming, and then he's like, "Here, you really doesn't have no idea what's going on." So he's like, "Here, run your hand under the sink." And so they pour water on it, and he's like, "Here, let me disinfect that." So he grabs an open bottle of vodka and pours the vodka on the cut, and Thurman screams even louder. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I should have told you that was going to sting a little."
But then the kid for Christmas gives him what he was making when he cut himself, which was a wooden pickle.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why did you paint it brown?" And he's like, "Oh, that was the blood from when I cut myself making it."
But like, it's not like, I mean, it is funny in a way, but it's like, that shows the heart. That part was the heart of the movie.
It was really heartwarming moment, but also a wooden pickle made me.
Well, it's like, well, what else can you give him? I mean, he's got no money, and he's got no skills.
A wooden pickle, though? What? Like, that's just
it's something. Okay, let's talk seriously for a moment.
What are you trying to?
Let's talk seriously for a moment, though. Okay, so
okay, a pickle is a phallic symbol.
No, no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
So Thurman made this thing with his own hands.
Yes.
He tried. He didn't, necessarily know. And that's why he cut his hands. But he did make the attempt. And, he put his literal, blood, sweat, and tears into the thing. And, gave it. It was the only gift that he had to, give to Willie. And, compare that to the end where Willie says, "You guys are monsters, and look at all that shit you've got." It's like that wooden pickle meant more to him than all the shit that Marcus and his wife was grabbing, because it meant something. Gifts don't always have to mean something to the person that they're given to. It's also means something to the person giving it. And so I think there's that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even though if you get a gift that you're not really into, just the fact that somebody gives you that gift has special meaning.
Yeah. And Thurman Merman is like, "Well, I gave you this because you're my friend."
Yeah.
And, later on, Willie's like, "I'm not going to get you a gift. I'm not Santa Claus." He's like, "I know you're not Santa Claus, but I thought you were my friend." Basically, you don't want to get a gift for your friend, basically.
Yeah.
And, Willie's like, "Oh, dang."
Yeah.
Basically. But then there's a nice parallelism whenever at the very end.
Very obvious.
Yes, very obvious. And it's even pointed out in the script.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a shame. Man, whenever I think about those things, I always think about Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. You make your own luck. I always think about that. I'm like, I get it. I saw that part of the movie. You don't need to tell me.
Basically, Willie is picking up the pink elephant that Thurman Merman wanted for Christmas whenever he gets held up by Marcus and Marcus's wife. And then a bunch of cops show up because of the letter that Willie gave to Thurman Merman that detailed all of his criminal activity.
Yeah, Thurman went ahead and gave it to the cops, even though Willie didn't die.
Yeah, because because that's what Willie asked him to do. And so then he drives away and he gets back to Thurman Merman's house, but then
he drives away being chased by the cops.
Yes,
because they only know they don't know that he wrote the letter, so he just thinks he's one of the perpetrators. And so they chase him, and Willie's like, yeah, this kid's getting this fucking present.
And so then he pulls up to the house, and he runs with the pink elephant towards the door, and he gets like obliterated by like 8 bullets. The pink elephant gets shot in the head, and like gets covered in Willie's blood, but also like the neighborhood kids hear all the sirens from the police, so they go to their windows and they look out and they see Santa being shot by the Phoenix Police Department. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we fade to black, and it's like, oh no, is he dead? Is he dead? And we get, the voiceover of, Willie saying...
Yeah, Willie wrote a letter while he was in the hospital to Thurman. And we get the voiceover for that.
And it's like, oh, thanks for mailing that letter. And because of the letter, I'm now a sensitivity, consultant for the police. And here's my gift to you. And sorry, hopefully not too much blood got on it. And hopefully they didn't compound it in the evidence locker or whatever.
And then he gets him another gift.
What's the other gift? I forget.
The t-shirt.
Oh yeah. which what does it say?
I memorized this, right? Shit happens when you party naked.
And
which,
so
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So he puts on the shirt, or actually Gilmore Girl, Santa lady, Mrs. Santa's sister, helps him put on the shirt, and then
while she hangs out in the hot tub.
While she hangs out in the jacuzzi out back. So he walks out, and he has the shirt on, and he's getting ready to set up his new bike, which probably Mrs. Santa's sister may have bought him. Yeah. And then the neighborhood bully shows up, and he's like, "What's wrong, you little twerp?" Basically, like, continuously insulting him as he used to. And, Thurman Merman kicks him in the balls and rides off into the sunset. With his shit gets crazy when you party naked shirt.
Shit happens when you party naked.
My bad.
And then, his middle finger flying right behind him.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes. He's riding off into the sunset of suburbia.
Yeah, as I think it was the same song that was played for like the Bad News Bears play.
That's hilarious. I did notice that in the scene where Willie is driving away from the police, the same song, the Chopin song from the beginning, is being played. Yeah. And it's like, a reprisal of it, and it becomes a Christmas song as he's like bleeding out on the steps.
Yeah, the use of, songs in this movie, especially the classical songs for, the ironic reasons, it's really good. Like, I think that's one of the best things about this movie, for sure. The music really does set the tone, a lot like Bad News Bears does, which, I made you watch before.
Yes, before we started the podcast, which is a great movie.
Yeah, Another movie that will require...
I'm noticing
a sensitivity warning, and also had a remake starring Billy Bob Thornton as the Buttermaker. Yeah.
I think actually Richard Linklater may have made that.
Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
All kinds of synchronicities we're noticing.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else do we talk about? We got in here. I don't know. I love this is just like another bit, but when Bernie Mac has them in the bar and he confronts them and he's like, I'm not going to turn you in. I want in.
Yeah.
I want half. And, Marcus is like, what? Half? No, that's not going to happen. we'll give you 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, half. 32%. Half. 35%. Half. And he like does like like any way you can think of to say half. Bernie Mac says it, and it's wonderful.
I bet the way that they shot that is they literally had Bernie Mac just say half over and over and over in all these bunch of different ways, and edited the ones that they one together.
It was wonderful. I loved that.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I love Bernie Mac's costume in this movie. He's like a Wild West cowboy, like dressed in like this like velvet suit and a cowboy hat and like tassels and everything. Is it beige? Like beige and then a red shirt? Yeah. It's gorgeous. Yeah. But it's so funny because like I don't even know. I think maybe he wears it because I don't even know why he wears it because it's Arizona. Because if you notice, like Marcus's elf costume, like it looks like a cowboy vest, with little tassels on the end, and like he wears green velvet chaps over his so I guess he's like an African American little person elf in a cowboy outfit. But like the funniest thing about Marcus's costume, if you notice, is like he has elf ears. Yes, and then skin tone. They're white elf ears. But honestly, that's a thing. That is a thing. Because like now since then, like cosplaying has become like so big that I'm fairly sure that they have like elf ears in different skin tones now. Mm-hmm. Not for Christmas elves or anything, but because cosplaying is so big now. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is like genuinely a thing where it's like that's actually one of the first things I noticed about Marcus was this, and I was like, that's kind of messed up. Yeah. But yeah. But it's so funny. It's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, this movie is a very mean-spirited movie with a lot of mean-spirited jokes. Yes, so absolutely. It fits right in, I think. Yeah. 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 Oh God. Oh yeah, that's one of the other things I want to talk about. Is like the editing in this movie is great. It's absolutely great. I think the best part of the editing was the back and forth between John Ritter and Bernie Mac when Bernie Mac has already investigated Willie and Marcus, and he's like, he's in on the scheme. So he tells John Ritter that he didn't find anything to fire them with. So they can stay in the mall. And that editing, like, it goes by so fast. It's like really snappy. It goes real quick back and forth. Mm-hmm. So I really like the editing with that. But like, there's also some other, like, another great part is like the match cutting when I knew you were gonna like that. I knew you would like that. With the safe and the mannequin? Yes. Yes. And then I can't think of the song, but it's like da da da. A hammer song is basically what it is. It's a famous classical song. I don't know the title of it, but it's about hammers. And so they match Willie hitting the safe with a sledgehammer and Marcus hitting the mannequins. He's trying to get like a fox stole off of this mannequin, but it's too tall. So he grabs the closest thing he can find, which is a golf club, and he starts hitting the mannequin on the leg to try to chop it down. And they match cut the hitting of Willie's using the sledge and Marcus using the golf club to the dings in the song, and it's great. It's wonderful. Yes, Edgar Wright would be proud. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I love Baby Driver too. That was hilarious. I knew you were gonna like that. Yeah. And like, there's also like other great parts of editing, like when Marcus is alone in the mall the two times, to deactivate the security system so he can let Willie in. That stuff is great setup too. So yeah, he's got to do all these crazy gymnastics and like in order to get to the security system to turn it off before the clock runs out. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. So yeah, I also love the editing in this. So great job. I like there's one more other song where it's like, I don't even remember what song it is, but it's on the subtitles. It said like boozy version. Oh yeah. The slow ragtime version of oh God. I wrote it down. I don't remember what song.
Silent Night. It was Silent Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of a boozy ragtime version.
It sounds like they're all drunk when they're singing it. Though.
Yeah.
They're like, Silent Night.
Yeah, that's when Willie got drunk and tore up the advent calendar.
Yes, that was great.
So,
and there was also like a shot. There was also another shot, like in Breaking Bad, whenever Jesse lifts off the floor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a shot where Willie is like teetering, and then the camera follows him, like second person POV. Like
it's kind of like a harness shot, I guess you could say.
And he like falls on the ground. I just thought that was cool. Like, they're using some cool tricks. They're getting a little bit in their fancy bag and stuff.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great editing, great use of score in this movie, great dialogue.
Yes.
Acting is great.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Thurman Merman.
You don't like how can you not like Thurman Merman's acting? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding
He gives such great deadpan. I mean, could you imagine? You're an actor. You say those lines. That reminds me of like Star Wars, where George Lucas wrote the lines, but like they were so badly written or like awkwardly written that the actors had to get together and be like, okay, how are we going to say these lines?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why Mark Hamill got the job as Luke Skywalker, because he would read lines while the others audition. And he was able to like talk about all these like strange planets and all the these weird alien terms like with a straight face, not stutter or get tripped over at all. And that's one of the reasons why he got the part. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to believe that is.
I've heard that lore as well, I think.
Okay.
But I've also heard that it was Harrison Ford who was also rewriting and stuff.
Oh, well, actually, it was Carrie Fisher, who did most of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she's an actress, and, that's kind of how she got her start in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. But what kept her in Hollywood was her work as a screenwriter and a script doctor.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was hired by movies to, punch up the script and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, Thurman Merman, he did a good enough job, I think.
You're out of your mind.
Okay. I won't talk too much crap about it. Acting is hard.
Hold on. I want you to say it.
No, it's okay.
No.
What do you want me to say?
He's in God's house with God and Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the longer donkey and the talking walnut.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
All right, let me read it. Read it.
Well, I gotta find it. Okay, hold on.
Now there's too much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Mom is in God's house with God and Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the long-eared donkey and the talking walnut. Hire me.
He did it better. This is way more believable.
He did it better. You're right.
Yeah. That's one of the things I love. I just love weird, strange dialogue, and it's just given deadpan without a moment's thought. That's incredible.
Also, Thurman Merman's name is Brett Kelly.
Yeah, that's the actor.
He's in Unaccompanied Minors.
Oh, is he?
Have you seen that movie?
I have not seen that movie.
I'm going to make you watch that movie. That's a terrible Christmas movie.
Well, now we know what we're going to watch, next Christmas.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Fine, go ahead. Evil cackle at me.
Well, I know what we're going to watch. I know what I'm going to choose for next Halloween.
What are you going to choose for next Halloween?
A movie you've already seen.
Oh, Halloween 3?
Yes!
You're gonna have
to watch that
again? You're not. You're joking. I hate you.
I know.
That movie was so bad.
It's not that bad.
But it did give us this idea to start a podcast where you would pick terrible genre movies.
Well, I haven't picked so terrible genre movies. I haven't even started.
I know. Thankfully.
But you haven't made me watch a George Washington yet, so.
Oh, do you want me to? I'll try. I'll think of something.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
I feel like I've challenged you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Liverpool, I think, was probably the closest.
Liverpool wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean,
what was worse, For Ellen or Liverpool?
I liked Liverpool. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I liked For Liverpool more than I liked For Ellen, but that's because Liverpool is just visual, you know. And I mean, that's a long watch, but I think there's more there. Like, there's a lot there, even though it's such minimal filmmaking. So we had a lot to talk about with Liverpool. For Ellen, I mean,
I was just asking which one bored you more, but
well, I mean, maybe it was probably For Ellen. I mean, not that it's a bad movie, but it's like, of the three of three you picked, you picked three movies, about terrible fathers.
Yes.
And so, like, Liverpool is, but the thing is like, two of them have a gimmick. Liverpool has the gimmick because it's like just really minimal filmmaking, barely any dialogue at all, totally visual. So, I think that's nice for a gimmick. And for those listeners who, haven't picked this up about me, I fucking love gimmicks.
He loves gimmicks. Oh man, I would love to just do like an episode or something where you just talk about all these movie ideas you have, but
well, we have to watch Hardcore Henry, which I fucking love. So we have to watch that at some point. Okay, so and then we watch Captain Fantastic, which, oh my god, there was three of us talking.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. That's a genuinely great movie. And then you have For Ellen, which the highlight of that movie was Napoleon Dynamite. Not that was a bad movie, but I'm just saying.
No, I get it.
If I have to rate them.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked you that question was just so you could, crap on the movies I picked. I didn't expect you to seriously answer, I guess, but I appreciate it. And I agree with you pretty much, I think. I think Liverpool is probably my favorite out of the ones we picked.
Okay, yeah.
And then probably Captain Fantastic. It had been a while since I'd watched For Ellen. Anyways, Bad Santa. Last thoughts. I wish I was watching like with a big group, because sometimes I felt like, I don't know, I think the laughs would have been a little more easy to come by. I feel like I would have laughed more if other people were laughing more.
Yeah. I noticed that you didn't laugh like a whole lot. But I mean, the thing is like, I would have laughed, but I kind of didn't want to spoil things for you unless something was like super funny. And also, I've watched this movie, like so many times. And so like, I know where what I find funny is coming along. So,
but to be fair, I mean, I picked Ernest Saves Christmas. So.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question: which movie has more laughs?
This movie probably has more laughs.
Really? Okay.
Because again, Ernest falls off in that last third. Whenever, because by the end, it's like I'm bored by the end of Ernest Saves Christmas. I mean, I hate to say it, it's sacrilege, but I'm a little bored. And I mean, this one, it was pretty predictable. I knew basically everything that was going to happen to some extent.
Well, are you surprised that there's no redemption arc in this movie?
There was a redemption arc.
You think so?
Yeah, he didn't die. He gave the kid a present, and he gave the kid, he's watching. He basically says he's going to come stay with the kid, until his dad comes back.
But he doesn't change as a character. Like, he's still a drunk.
Yes, he does. That is the change. It doesn't matter that he still drinks. He's, he's become a better human being who cares about someone else.
Well, I mean, okay, but the thing is, so he becomes a better human being, but also it's like very relative, because it's like, you know what I mean? It's like the difference between going to the 9th level of hell versus, the 8th level of hell. You know what I mean? I know. I mean, that's how I feel about these characters.
Yes, that's fair. That's completely fair, but there's still a change.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair and valid.
He was going to kill himself. He didn't. That's also a change,
That's true. Because he found hope in
beating up children.
Context matters, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last thoughts. Yeah, I love this movie. It's totally misanthropic. It's very bitter. It's very cynical, and it makes me feel good about hating Christmas. So, yeah, I feel justified, and that's why I watch it every year.
That's so funny to me. That's still funny to me.
Along with Elf. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you kind of tried to balance yourself out. Yeah.
It makes for an interesting double feature.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the question is then, like, okay, well, which do you watch first?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering when you first told me that. And which do you watch first and which do you watch last?
It depends on my mood that year. It depends on how things are going. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, that has been your movie, my movie. That has been our Christmas picks.
That was Bad Santa, and
yeah,
this is the end of the episode, I guess.
Yeah. So once again, we'll leave, and I also want to say, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Have fun.
Be safe.
Be safe.
And always remember, shit happens when you party naked.